Yeah, I just wanna be the greatest. Everybody knows my name.
What is up, YouTube? My name is Aaron. Welcome back to another Destiny video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about faction rallies, and even though they're better than what they were in vanilla version of the game, they still aren't the experience that most players, I would say, are looking for or want. So I'm going to jump straight into it. I have not a lot of intro or premise to this, but the first thing is that the rally grind is not fun. Your most efficient grind is doing public events and lost sectors on repeat for between 8 and 10 hours. That's not fun. I don't know anyone who just does lost sectors and public events for fun. And then you add the renown mechanic to it as well, which makes it slightly difficult and a little bit more pressure on you. And I don't dislike the renown system. I think it's a decent mechanic that adds some gameplay variety. But the issue here is that they tied rally grinding to an activity that isn't well polished to begin with. I think that it would be much more appealing and much more efficient if players were allowed to grind rally tokens more effectively by doing raids, nightfall strikes, even just running heroic strikes or something like that. It would be hugely beneficial for how fun grinding for faction rallies is, because as of right now it's really mundane. So the second issue I have with faction rallies is that it's not about the faction anymore, at least right now. It's the Catalyst rally. Even though these items are pretty much, if I understand it, time-gated, I believe there will be other ways to get them in the future. However, if you want them now, which is what I assume most players would want a masterwork, you have to pledge to a different faction every time. And that destroys any notion of what faction loyalty would mean. Are you here for Future War Cult, or are you here just for the Sunshot? While factions have always been kind of about loot or cosmetics, regardless, it's oddly dissatisfying to join a faction you don't like simply because of one item that's worth having, and that everyone would like to have. The third thing is that you have no individual impact on the winning or losing of any specific faction when the competition is the entire community. And this is the entire process of the faction rally actually being a competitive event. Well, not competitive in the sense that you try hard or anything, but competitive in the sense that it is a competition to see what faction grinds out the most packages. And because the community is, relatively large, you have no individual impact on winning or losing. You might as well join Team Instinct or vote Libertarian. Your faction choice doesn't really matter. So when you choose your faction, this goes back to the choice of faction not really mattering as much. When you choose your faction, something heavy in your mind is which faction is going to win this time. And unfortunately, the answer to that question is usually quite obvious, as we've seen with Dead Orbit clearly winning the first faction rally, and then, as predicted, Future War Cult winning the second faction rally. Now, to sum up the video, I guess I'll just talk a couple potential fixes for how to make faction rallies a little bit better, in my opinion, a little bit more fun. Firstly, I already mentioned this before, but either polish up lost sectors or remove them from the grind, because I don't want to do lost sectors in public events for 9 hours. It's not fun. I'll do it to get the item, but it's not what I wish I was doing that week. Secondly, with the catalysts, please make all 3 catalysts, or all major exotic loot, be available from any of the 3 factions. If you level up to X level with the faction, they offer you a choice of what exotic catalyst or other exotic item that you want, and you choose it so that you can get 1 per rally and just pledge to the faction that you would like. I want to see the factions be more about ideology or just cosmetics, really. I just want to see more of the factions be closer to a system where you kind of just pledge to the one that you like and not have to worry about if you're going to be left behind in meta because you don't have what you would have had if you would have pledged to a different faction. Now, the third thing with the system of winning and losing to begin with is one that ties back into the other 2, and I do kind of like the faction system of there being a winning faction with a winner's weapon and everything, because it does give a little bit of incentive to maybe switch it up every once in a while, or just be rewarded for being on top, something like that. But unless they find a way to make it actually a competitive event where it's, kind of close every time, I just don't think I'm a fan of there being winners and losers to the system. And with that being said, that pretty much concludes today's video. Thanks for watching. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always,
take it easy.